The city lights glowed outside as Ryan sat alone in his car. He was a successful young businessman, respected in his company, admired by his colleagues. He had wealth, power, and fame. But one thing kept troubling him, his family's constant pressure. Every time he visited his parents, his mother would ask, "Ryan, when will you introduce us to the girl you love?" His father would add, "It's time you settle down. A man with your status should have a wife." Ryan had no answer. The truth was simple, he had no girlfriend, and he had no time for love. His life was only about work and business. But his parents didn't understand. They had already planned a big family gathering for the weekend, where they expected him to bring his special someone. Ryan sighed as he leaned back in his seat. "I can't go alone again. They'll never stop asking. I need a plan." His eyes shifted toward the small restaurant across the street. The place was noisy but full of life. Waiters rushed around carrying plates, customers laughed and argued, and the smell of fresh food filled the air. Inside, a young waitress moved quickly between the tables. Her name was Emily. She wore a simple uniform, her hair tied back in a loose ponytail. She looked tired but determined, balancing trays of food with practiced skill. Yet, even in her exhaustion, she carried a quiet grace that drew Ryan's attention. He watched her for a while. She served rude customers without losing her patience. She smiled politely even when people ignored her. There was something about her, something genuine. Ryan suddenly had an idea. A risky idea. He walked into the restaurant, sitting down at a corner table. Emily hurried over with a menu. "Good evening, sir. Would you like to order?" she asked, her voice soft but professional. Ryan didn't open the menu. Instead, he looked straight into her eyes. "Actually, I want to ask you something unusual." Emily blinked, confused. "Unusual? Sir, this is a restaurant. We only serve food here." Ryan leaned forward. "I know. But I need your help. I want to hire you, not as a waitress, but as my girlfriend." Emily's eyes widened. She almost dropped her notepad. "What? Is this some kind of joke?" Ryan shook his head. "I'm serious. My family is pressuring me. They want me to bring a girlfriend to a family event this weekend. I don't have one. I'll pay you well if you agree to act as mine, just for one day." Emily stepped back, her heart racing. She had met many strange customers in her life, but this man was different. He wasn't joking. His eyes were serious, his tone calm. But the idea sounded insane. "Why me?" she asked carefully. Ryan glanced at her uniform. "Because you're real. You don't look like someone who would play games. You're hardworking. And for some reason, I feel like you can be trusted." Emily's throat went dry. She wanted to walk away, but the thought of money stopped her. She had bills to pay, and her younger sister's school fees were due next week. Their small apartment rent was already late. Life had been nothing but struggle for her ever since her parents died. Still, she hesitated. "This sounds wrong. What if your family finds out? What if they know I'm just a waitress?" Ryan's lips curved into a small smile. "They won't. I'll make sure of it. You just need to smile, hold my hand, and say a few nice things. That's all." Emily lowered her gaze, thinking hard. She had promised herself never to get involved in lies. But her sister's innocent face came to her mind, the fear of losing their home, the worry of unpaid bills. "How much?" she asked finally. Ryan didn't hesitate. He wrote a number on a napkin and slid it across the table. Emily's eyes widened. The amount was more than her entire month's salary. She looked at him in disbelief. "You're crazy." "Maybe," Ryan replied calmly. "But I'm also desperate. And I think you are too." Emily bit her lip. He was right. She needed the money. But agreeing meant stepping into a dangerous game, pretending to be someone she wasn't, lying to people she had never met. Her heart pounded as silence filled the air. Ryan leaned back, waiting for her answer. Finally, Emily whispered, "Fine. I'll do it. But only for one day." Ryan's face softened with relief. "That's all I need." Emily sighed, already regretting her decision. She knew nothing about Ryan except that he was rich and serious. She didn't know his family, she didn't know how to act in front of them, and she didn't know what kind of mess this would create. As Ryan stood to leave, he looked at her one last time. "Be ready. I'll send you the details tomorrow." Emily watched him walk out of the restaurant, her hands trembling. She had just agreed to something that could change her life forever. What neither of them knew was that this strange deal would not remain just a deal. It was the beginning of something far deeper, something that would shock everyone, including themselves. The weekend arrived faster than Emily expected. She had spent sleepless nights worrying about her strange decision. Every time she thought about it, her heart raced. What if they find out? What if I make a mistake? What if this ruins everything? Her sister, Lily, noticed her nervousness. "Emily, what's wrong? You've been quiet all week." Emily forced a smile. "Nothing, Lily. Just work stress." She didn't have the courage to tell her little sister the truth. How could she explain that she was about to pretend to be someone's girlfriend for money? That Saturday afternoon, Ryan's car pulled up outside Emily's small apartment. It was a sleek, black car that looked completely out of place in the old neighborhood. Children on the street stopped playing to stare at it. Emily felt embarrassed as she stepped outside in a borrowed dress. It wasn't expensive, but it was the best she had. Ryan stepped out of the car, dressed sharply in a navy suit. His eyes scanned Emily from head to toe. For a moment, he seemed almost surprised. "You look perfect," he said softly. Emily blushed slightly but quickly looked away. "Don't exaggerate. I'm just nervous." Ryan gave a small smile. "Just remember the plan. Hold my hand. Stay close. Smile when they talk to you. That's all." Emily nodded, her palms already sweating. As they drove toward Ryan's family estate, Emily stared out of the window. The buildings grew taller, the roads cleaner, the houses grander. Finally, they arrived at a massive mansion with wide gates and manicured gardens. Emily's heart dropped. What have I gotten myself into? The butler opened the door, greeting Ryan warmly. "Welcome back, sir. Everyone is waiting inside." His eyes then shifted to Emily with curiosity. Emily forced a polite smile as she stepped out, clutching Ryan's arm for courage. Inside the house, the sound of laughter and conversation filled the air. The living room was crowded with relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, all dressed elegantly. The moment Ryan entered with Emily, the room grew silent. All eyes turned to them. Ryan cleared his throat. "Everyone, this is Emily, my girlfriend." Emily's heart almost stopped at the word girlfriend. But she managed to smile, bowing her head slightly. Ryan's mother, a graceful woman with kind eyes, stepped forward first. "Oh my goodness, Ryan. You finally brought her." She hugged Emily warmly. "Welcome, dear. We have been waiting so long to meet you." Emily stiffened at the hug but quickly relaxed. "Thank you, It's an honor to meet you." Ryan's father, tall and serious, nodded in approval. "Ryan has good taste." Emily smiled awkwardly, her stomach twisting. The relatives surrounded her, asking questions. "How did you two meet? How long have you been together? What do you do?" Emily's hands grew cold. She glanced at Ryan, panic flashing in her eyes. He squeezed her hand gently, signaling her to stay calm. She took a deep breath. We met at a cafe. It was unexpected, but we kept meeting again and again. Eventually, we couldn't ignore our feelings." The women in the room sighed dreamily. "How romantic." Ryan added smoothly, "She was kind enough to give me a chance. She changed my life." Emily turned her face away, hoping no one saw the redness in her cheeks. She wasn't used to lying like this, and yet, the way Ryan said it almost sounded real. During dinner, Emily tried her best to stay composed. The long dining table was filled with delicious dishes she had never even seen before. Crystal glasses sparkled under the chandelier. Emily held her fork nervously, trying not to reveal how uncomfortable she felt. Ryan's mother spoke kindly. "Emily, tell us about yourself. What do you do?" Emily froze. Her real answer would expose her instantly. She looked down, struggling to think of something. But Ryan jumped in smoothly. "She's very private about her work, Mother. But what matters is her heart. She's hardworking, caring, and always honest." Emily glanced at him, surprised. He had saved her from embarrassment again. The evening continued with laughter and conversations. Ryan's mother seemed completely charmed by Emily. His father nodded approvingly. But not everyone was convinced. Ryan's cousin, Claire, sat quietly, watching Emily with sharp eyes. She leaned toward another cousin and whispered, "Something doesn't add up. She seems nervous, like she's hiding something. The cousin shrugged. Maybe she's just shy. But Claire smirked. No. I'll find out the truth. Emily, unaware of Claire's suspicion, tried to relax. As the night ended, Ryan's parents hugged her goodbye warmly, inviting her to visit again soon. In the car, Emily let out a heavy sigh. That was terrifying. Ryan chuckled softly. You did well. They liked you. Emily turned to him, her brows furrowed. Don't joke. I was shaking the whole time. Ryan glanced at her, his eyes thoughtful. Maybe. But you were real. That's why they believed you. Emily looked away, her heart strangely unsettled. She reminded herself, this is just a job. Just one day. Nothing more. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, why did his words sound like they meant something? What Emily didn't know was that her small lies had already started a chain of events. And someone in that very house was ready to tear her secret apart. The days after the family dinner passed slowly for Emily. She thought once the event was over, her deal with Ryan would be finished. But she was wrong. Ryan's mother called the very next morning. Emily, dear, it was so lovely meeting you. Why don't you come over this weekend for lunch? We want to know you better. Emily's hands shook as she held the phone. She had no idea what to say. She couldn't refuse, it would look suspicious. But the thought of lying more scared her. When she told Ryan, he looked serious. We can't stop now. If you don't go, they'll doubt everything. Just a few more times until things settle down. Emily frowned. This wasn't part of the deal. You said one day. Ryan sighed. I know. But you saw how much they like you. If you disappear now, they'll ask too many questions. Please, Emily. I'll pay you extra. Emily looked at him with frustration, but deep down, she knew she needed the money. Rent was still unpaid. Her sister's school fees were due again. She couldn't afford to back out. Fine, she muttered. But I don't like this. That weekend, Emily found herself once again walking through the massive doors of Ryan's family mansion. This time, she tried to act more confident. She smiled, spoke kindly, and helped Ryan's mother set the table. But Ryan's cousin Claire kept her sharp eyes on her. Claire had always been suspicious. She watched the way Emily avoided questions about her background. She noticed Emily's nervousness whenever money or career was mentioned. Something wasn't right. During lunch, Claire leaned closer and asked, So, Emily, where exactly did you and Ryan meet? You said a cafe, but which one? Emily froze for a second. She tried to smile. It was a small one, downtown. I don't remember the name. Claire raised an eyebrow. Strange. Most people remember the place where they met their partner. Emily's cheeks turned red. She quickly took a sip of water, hoping to hide her panic. Ryan jumped in smoothly. Claire, does it matter? We met by fate. That's all you need to know. Claire smirked but said nothing more. Inside, she was already making plans. Later that evening, when the lunch was over, Ryan offered Emily a ride back home. On the way, he noticed her silence. You're upset, he said softly. Emily crossed her arms. Your cousin almost caught me. I can't do this. I don't want to be humiliated in front of everyone. Ryan glanced at her. You won't be. Trust me. I'll protect you. His words made her heart skip for a moment. She quickly looked away. Don't be foolish, Emily. This is just a deal. Nothing more. But Ryan wasn't lying. Something inside him had started to change. He had hired Emily only as a temporary solution, but now, when he looked at her, he saw more. Her honesty, her quiet strength, her care for others, it touched something in him he didn't know was still alive. One evening, after work, Ryan decided to follow Emily secretly. He told himself it was because he wanted to know more about the woman who was pretending to be his girlfriend. But deep down, it was curiosity mixed with something else, concern. He parked his car a short distance away and watched her. Emily didn't go to any fancy place. She went straight to the small restaurant where she worked. She put on her uniform, tied her hair, and began serving tables with the same patience he had first noticed. Ryan felt a strange pain in his chest. She's still working this hard, even after I paid her so much. Why didn't she quit? Hours later, he followed her again, this time to her neighborhood. Emily walked into a small, worn-out apartment building. Through the window, Ryan could see her hugging a young girl, her sister. Emily cooked a simple dinner, laughed with her, and then sat down at the table helping her with schoolwork. Ryan watched quietly, his heart heavy. So this is her real life. She took my deal not for herself, but for her sister. She's been carrying so much, all alone. Meanwhile, Claire's suspicions only grew stronger. She couldn't accept that Ryan had suddenly found a perfect girlfriend after years of rejecting every woman his family introduced. The next day, she visited Ryan's office. "Cousin, can we talk?" she asked sweetly. Ryan looked at her warily. "What is it now, Claire?" She leaned against his desk. "It's about Emily. Don't you find it strange how little she talks about herself? It's almost as if she's hiding something." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Emily is private. That doesn't mean she's hiding anything." Claire smirked. "Or maybe she's hiding everything. I'll find out. And when I do, you'll thank me." Ryan's eyes darkened. "Stay out of this, Claire. Don't cross the line." But Claire had already made up her mind. That very evening, she followed Emily after work. And when she saw Emily back in her waitress uniform, serving food to customers, Claire's smile widened. "So this is the truth," she whispered to herself. "She's just a waitress. And soon, everyone will know." Emily, unaware of the danger coming her way, continued her night shift, wiping tables and carrying trays. She had no idea her carefully hidden secret was about to explode, and the cracks in her fake story were getting wider with every passing day. The evening was bright with golden lights as Ryan's family gathered again, this time for his father's birthday. The mansion was decorated beautifully, flowers at the entrance, music filling the hall, and relatives chatting happily in every corner. Emily arrived with Ryan, her heart racing. She wore the same borrowed dress, trying her best to look confident. Ryan whispered, "Relax. Just stay close to me. Everything will be fine." Emily nodded, but deep inside, fear pressed against her chest. Each time she faced Ryan's family, the lies grew heavier. She didn't know how long she could carry the weight. Inside the hall, Ryan's parents welcomed her warmly again. His mother kissed her cheek, saying, "Emily, dear, we are so happy you are here. You feel like part of the family already." Emily forced a smile, her guilt growing stronger. If only they knew the truth, she thought. The party continued with laughter and music. Emily tried to blend in, smiling at the relatives, helping with small tasks, and sitting close to Ryan. But across the room, Claire's sharp eyes followed her every move. Claire had been waiting for this moment. She had kept quiet since discovering Emily's real job at the restaurant, but tonight was her chance to expose the lie in front of everyone. When the family gathered near the cake, Claire suddenly cleared her throat. "Excuse me, everyone. I have something to say." The room grew quiet. All eyes turned toward her. Emily froze, sensing danger. Ryan tensed beside her. Claire walked closer, her voice loud and clear. "This girl standing here, this so-called girlfriend of Ryan, is not who she pretends to be." Gasps filled the room. Emily's face turned pale. Claire continued, her eyes burning with triumph. "She isn't from a respectable family. She isn't successful or educated like Ryan deserves. She's just a waitress. I saw her myself, serving tables in a cheap restaurant after pretending to be his girlfriend here." Whispers spread quickly among the relatives. "A waitress? Is that true? Ryan brought her here." Emily's hands trembled. Her heart felt like it had stopped beating. Tears welled in her eyes as shame washed over her. She couldn't meet anyone's gaze. Ryan's father's face darkened. His mother covered her mouth in shock. Emily finally whispered, her voice broken, "It's true." The room fell silent again. I work as a waitress," she admitted, her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't mean to deceive anyone. I only agreed because—" Her voice shook, and she couldn't finish the sentence. The relatives murmured louder, their eyes filled with judgment. Claire smirked, enjoying the scene. "See? I told you all. She only pretended. And I'm sure she did it for money." Emily's chest tightened. She wanted to explain, but her throat felt locked. Ryan suddenly stepped forward, his voice firm. "Enough, Claire." Claire looked at him in surprise. "What? Don't tell me you're still defending her after this." Ryan's eyes burned with anger. "Yes, she's a waitress. Yes, I asked her to pretend. It wasn't her idea, it was mine." Gasps filled the hall again. Everyone looked at Ryan in shock. Emily turned to him, stunned. Ryan. He faced his family, his voice steady. I was the one who forced her into this lie. I didn't want to face your questions about marriage. So I asked her to help me. Don't blame her, blame me. His father's voice thundered. Ryan, do you know what you have done? You embarrassed this family. Ryan looked down for a moment, guilt in his eyes, but then he raised his head. I don't regret meeting her. Maybe I started this as a lie, but now I see her truth. She is hardworking. She takes care of her sister. She has more honesty and strength than many people here. The relatives whispered again, some shocked, some thoughtful. Claire crossed her arms. So what? She's still just a waitress. Do you really want someone like her in our family? Ryan turned to her sharply. Yes. Because her character is worth more than status or money. She has dignity. Something you clearly don't understand. Emily's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. He was defending her, not for money, not for appearances, but because he truly meant it. Ryan's mother stepped forward slowly. Her voice was soft, but her eyes glistened. Emily, is it true? You only did this because Ryan asked. Emily wiped her tears and nodded. Yes, I didn't want to lie. But I needed the money for my sister's school. I thought it was just one day, but things got out of control. I never meant to hurt anyone. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Ryan's mother sighed deeply. You should have told us the truth. But I see your heart. And I see the way my son looks at you. Emily blinked in surprise. Ryan's father, however, remained stern. This is not acceptable. Ryan, you have shamed us. This girl must leave now. Emily's chest tightened again. She lowered her head, ready to walk away in humiliation. But Ryan grabbed her hand tightly. She's not leaving. Gasps echoed again. Ryan's voice was firm. I don't care what anyone says. I will not let her walk away like this. The room filled with tension. The relatives whispered furiously. Claire glared with hatred. Emily's tears fell silently, her heart torn between fear and a strange, growing hope. The party that was supposed to be a celebration had turned into a storm. And Emily knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The hall was still heavy with silence. The music had stopped, and the only sound was the whispers of shocked relatives. Emily stood frozen, her hand still in Ryan's. His grip was strong, but her heart trembled. She wanted to run, to escape the stairs, but Ryan's voice had already bound her to the moment. Emily took a deep breath, her tears still fresh. She looked at Ryan's parents, her voice soft but clear. It's true. I agreed to pretend, because I needed the money. Gasps echoed again. A few relatives shook their heads, their faces filled with disappointment. Claire smirked, satisfied. Emily continued, her eyes lowering in shame. I know it was wrong. I know it was dishonest. But I didn't do it to cheat anyone. I only thought of my sister. She's still young, and I have to take care of her. After our parents died, it's been my responsibility. I didn't see another way. Her words trembled but carried truth. The room grew quiet as she spoke. Even those who judged her earlier now listened with curiosity. Emily's voice broke as she added, When Ryan asked me, I thought it was just one night. Just a lie that would end quickly. But then, I met his family. I saw your kindness. I saw how you treated me like I belonged. And every smile, every word, it hurt me, because I knew it wasn't real. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She covered her face for a moment, ashamed of her weakness. Claire quickly spoke, her tone sharp. So you admit it. You admit you lied to all of us. Emily nodded, whispering, Yes. I lied. And for that, I am truly sorry. The hall was silent again, but this time it wasn't only anger. Some eyes softened. Some relatives lowered their heads, touched by her honesty. Ryan suddenly stepped forward, his voice steady. She shouldn't be standing here alone. Everyone turned to him. It's true, I hired her. I didn't want to face your endless questions about marriage. I thought if I brought someone, you would leave me alone. So I forced her into this lie. If you want to blame someone, blame me. His father's face hardened. Ryan, do you even understand what you're saying? You are admitting you lied to us too. Yes, Ryan said firmly. I lied. And I hurt you all. But the difference between us is, Emily never wanted this. She was honest about needing money. She only agreed because she was desperate. I was the one who dragged her into this mess." The crowd murmured louder. Some relatives shook their heads, others exchanged worried glances. Claire crossed her arms in frustration. Ryan's mother stepped closer, her eyes full of pain. "Ryan, why didn't you just tell us the truth? We are your family. You didn't need to create such a drama." Ryan lowered his head. "Because I was weak. I didn't want to face your disappointment. I didn't want to admit that I wasn't ready for marriage. And when I saw Emily, I thought she was perfect for my lie. I never imagined she would change my heart." The room stirred. His last words struck differently. Emily looked at him, her lips parting in surprise. Ryan turned toward her, his voice softer now. "At first, you were only a role. But every day I spent with you, I saw your real self. I saw how you work hard, how you sacrifice for your sister, how you carry strength in your silence. And then, I realized I wasn't pretending anymore." Emily's eyes widened. Her tears fell again, but this time, her heart beat faster. She didn't expect such words from him. Claire scoffed loudly. "Oh, what nonsense. Don't tell me you're in love with her now. She tricked you. Can't you see that?" Ryan looked at Claire coldly. "No, Claire. She didn't trick me. She showed me what real strength looks like. Something you will never understand." Claire's face burned red with anger, but she had no reply. Ryan turned back to his family. "You always taught me to value honesty, kindness, and loyalty. Emily has all of that. She may not come from wealth, but she has more dignity than most people I know." His words pierced the room. The relatives looked at Emily again, not as a liar, but as a woman who carried silent burdens. Emily shook her head slowly, whispering, "Ryan, why are you saying this? Don't defend me. It's better if I leave." But Ryan stepped closer, his eyes locking with hers. "No, Emily. You're not leaving. Not this time. I can't let you walk away." The room fell silent again. Every heart was caught in suspense. Ryan faced his father, his voice calm but determined. "I know I disappointed you. I know this is not what you wanted. But I will not abandon her. She deserves better than humiliation." His father's jaw tightened. His mother's eyes glistened with tears. The relatives whispered again, divided between tradition and truth. And in the middle of it all, Emily stood trembling, her heart torn between shame and hope. She had revealed her darkest truth, and yet, for the first time, she felt she was not standing alone. The unexpected truth had been spoken. Now, everything rested on what would happen next. The hall was frozen in silence. Ryan's last words still echoed, "She deserves better than humiliation." Everyone stared at him, some shocked, some moved, some whispering to each other. Emily stood trembling, unable to believe what she had just heard. Her heart raced. She wanted to run away, yet her feet felt rooted to the ground. Never in her life had anyone stood up for her like this. She was used to being invisible, used to being judged for her simple clothes, her small job, her struggles. But Ryan, this man who once hired her to play a role, was now risking his family's respect for her. Ryan's father finally spoke, his voice heavy with anger. "Ryan, do you understand what you are saying? You are ready to throw away your reputation, your family's trust, for this girl." Ryan turned to him, his voice calm but firm. "Father, I would rather lose everything than lose her." Gasps rippled through the relatives. Some shook their heads in disapproval, but others exchanged glances of surprise, even admiration. Emily's tears fell faster. She whispered, almost too softly, "Ryan, don't, please. Don't ruin yourself for me. I'm not worth it." Ryan stepped closer, looking into her eyes. "Emily, you don't get it. You're worth everything. From the day I met you, I thought you were just part of a deal. But every moment showed me more, your kindness, your honesty, your sacrifices. You made me realize what real love feels like. I can't let you go." His words struck her heart like thunder. For a second, the room disappeared. It was only him and her, standing in a storm of emotions. Claire suddenly broke the silence, her voice sharp. "This is ridiculous. She's just a waitress. She has nothing. Do you really think love can survive without status, without money, without class?" Ryan turned to her with cold eyes. "Money can buy comfort, Claire. But it cannot buy respect, honesty, or love. And Emily has given me all three. Emily's lips trembled. She looked at him, whispering, "Ryan, you really mean that?" Ryan nodded, his voice steady. "I've never meant anything more in my life." For the first time, Emily's heart allowed itself to believe him. She had been so afraid of being nothing more than a hired actress in his world. But now, standing in front of his entire family, Ryan had stripped away all lies. Ryan's mother stepped forward, her face softening. She touched Emily's hand gently. "My dear, I can see truth in your eyes. You didn't come here to destroy us. You were only trying to survive. And now, I see the way my son looks at you. That cannot be faked." Emily blinked, stunned by her kindness. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I only wanted my sister to have a better life." Ryan's mother nodded. "And that is something only a strong heart can do." But Ryan's father remained stern. "This is against our values. Ryan, if you choose her, you choose against this family." The words hit like a hammer. The room gasped again. Emily froze. Her heart screamed inside, "No, Ryan. Don't do this. Don't lose them for me." She pulled her hand away, her voice breaking. "Ryan, I can't let you fight your family. I can't be the reason you lose everything. Please, let me go." But Ryan grabbed her hand again, firmer this time. His eyes burned with determination. "No, Emily. You don't understand. I've spent my whole life living for others, pleasing them, following their rules, hiding my true self. For once, I want to live for me. And I choose you." Emily's tears poured down, her lips trembling. "Ryan." The room was silent, every relative holding their breath. Ryan continued, his voice filled with emotion. "I don't care about lies anymore. I don't care about expectations. All I know is that I love you. And I'll spend the rest of my life proving it, if you let me." The words hung in the air, powerful and undeniable. Emily's heart finally broke free of all fear. She whispered, through tears, "Yes, Ryan. I love you too. I was scared. I thought I was just a part of your game. But now, I see you mean every word. And I can't fight my heart anymore." The hall erupted in murmurs, some shocked, some touched. Claire stormed out angrily, her pride shattered. Ryan's father turned away, still cold, but his mother quietly wiped her tears, hope flickering in her eyes. Ryan pulled Emily closer, wrapping his arms around her. For the first time, she didn't feel like an actress in someone else's play. She felt like herself, seen, loved, and chosen. The night that began with lies ended with truth. A waitress and a wealthy man, tied together by a deal, had found something no money could buy, real love. And though their journey ahead would not be easy, both knew one thing for certain: they would face it together.